I mean, the best advice is just keep your hand shut. Because I can give you all, is keep your hand shut. I can give you all the advice in the world how to ride a bull, but in your heart, are you truly gonna want to do it? That's up to you. You know, so keep your hand shut, and the rest will follow.
The Knights. Let's go. Let's go. Mark it up. Mark it up. Brandon Davis is back. The bull's called damaged goods. People would have said 3 years ago, this guy's damaged goods. But you know what he did tonight? He just turned it in for 84.5 points.
It's not every day that we get to have bull riding on the screen for a men's event, so I figured I wouldn't pass up the opportunity today to do it. So I met Brandon through Shane. Him and Shane have been friends for a long time, and he actually sat down and we did like an hour and 20 minutes on the podcast. Yeah. A few months back. It's on YouTube if you want to see the whole conversation, but it's hard to really, I think, wrap our head around, because bull riding's not a sport that a lot of people are involved in. But you essentially were in the MLB of bull riding. You were at the top level, the biggest level in the sport. Take me back to when you started riding. How did it transpire? Where did you come from? How do you go from Arkansas to the biggest stage in the world?
So this story right here is what I've told. I've been on the news when I've got to the PBR and we've done PR work and stuff like that, and they've asked that same question. And really what started bull riding was I grew up in Macon, Arkansas. So if y'all know where Macon is, just north of the Air Force Base there off of 107. So coming home from Bahamita Elementary School, I was probably 8, 9. My dad worked in the backyard there. He's an auto body, I would say mechanic, but he works a lot on the auto body industry. And one day coming home, there was a pot-bellied pig sitting out there, and I told my dad, I said, "Hey, I caught this thing." And he's like, "No, that's crazy. We've tried all day. That pig's been here, since you've got off the bus from school." I was like, "No, I promise, I caught it." Showed him, made him and his buddy come out there, and sure enough, I caught that pig. And we strapped a rope around it, and I told my dad I was going to ride this pig, and he said, "Boy, you couldn't ride a bicycle," just joking with me. And sure enough, we got on that pig, and my dad kicked it in the behind, and we took off. So that's what started my bull riding career.
So a pig to that thing.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I don't know as far as courage, what it took, to do that. As a kid, you don't really know. I liked animals. I was comfortable around them, horses, dogs, it didn't matter. But after I rode that pig, I was trying to ride everything. My mom's couch pillows, anything, that could imitate bull riding. Because I knew right then, just the feeling, the part where you don't know if you're going to fall over the edge, get run over. It was just, maybe that was an ego at an early stage, but I played sports too. Played at Sherwood and played for the Blue Bears back then, and then the Twisters, so the courage part, it was already there as far as, as your ego goes. But, so yeah, pig riding, it started every bit of it.
So how old were you when you got on your first bull?
I think I had to beg my mom for about 3 or 4 years. It's 11, 12 years old.
Is that pretty typical, about 12 years old, or is that?
Well, most kids this day, they'll start on sheep, about the age that, I got on that pig.
Mutton busting?
Mutton busting, yeah. So, they start at 4 to 5, but yeah.
So first ride, you get on the bull, you're strapped in. What goes through your mind?
I do remember my very first ride. It was in Redfield, Arkansas. My mom took me to a little, they call it a buck out, little practice pen, just some older guys and some PBR talent at that time were there, and I told my mom I need to go practice. I don't really remember after I nodded my head. I just gotten in the chute, and I don't even remember the color of the bull or anything, but I do remember on that first bull, there's a time where you slide up on your rope, and then it's like everything pauses. Even you're still, and it's almost like cold chills, really. And then you just somehow just say, let's go. And, I'm shaking right now thinking about it, just because the adrenaline that comes from that, at the time as a kid, you don't really think about if you're going to die or not. You don't think about it. But now, looking back at it, it could be your last time, Anytime you nod your head. So that part, is what really kind of sticks out in my mind still till this day.
So you start there, you say you don't really remember, it's like a pause, and you go. Do you think over time you developed the courage to take on bigger and tougher rides? Is that kind of how your career progressed, or did you have the courage and the confidence that you could do this on day one, and it just kind of went with you along the way?
Yes, sir. Sure. I believed I could, make it or go be in the PBR, be at the highest levels, if you will. I've always believed no matter what I've done, I'm going to figure it out, whether it comes through experience or not. Now, I will say, the older I got, the more I dialed it down, the quicker I got in the chute, the quicker I get out of the chute. Because in bull riding, that was the most dangerous part of it, was in the bucking chute. It's solid steel. That's where a lot of the injuries happen. I've seen guys sit there and get their rope ready, and a bull be standing there perfect, and then all of a sudden just something happens, and that bull just cracks and bucks in the chute and slams that cowboy to the front of it. It's a game of inches. When you're talking about your life, like I said, when you nod your head or you just leave that house, to head to wherever you're going that weekend, it could be your last time, and you bury that in the back of your brain,
So in the video, you got a hat on.
Yeah.
Some guys wear helmets. Was it just a choice? You were never going to wear a helmet? Were they not prevalent yet?
Well, the saying goes, I'm grandfathered in the PBR, so I guess if you're born after 97 now, you have to wear a helmet, or 96 or something like that. So there's going to be a time in the PBR where you just see everybody wearing a helmet, which I'm for that, just because this day and age, with CTE, there's that video the movie Brett Favre come out with. It's a documentary on all that stuff, and I actually watched it last night, and that got me thinking a lot, and I guess you can't sit here and say that I have it, right? But listening to Brett Favre and some of the things that he has said as far as just forgetting what he's doing sometimes, I can see it, and that's, I guess, where the courage comes too, because our Father has your plans already written out, and Lord Jesus is right there with you each and every time. So whether it worsens or not, we'll be all right,
Yeah. And we talked on the pod a little bit about the faith of bull riders. Faith seems to be connected to the sport. It seems to be kind of ingrained in it some. Talk about how that kind of works out in the sport of bull riding, how faith is a part and an aspect of what y'all are doing.
Well, I can tell you, my faith, it comes and goes in your. And when I say go, I don't mean it goes away from you. In bull riding, it was like when you have your mind to it, you're going to do it. Now the faith part, it's tested me, but then it's also made me stronger. When I say tested, there's times that Lord has put it right in front of me. You're going to go to the World Finals, and I did, and then break your arm the next season. I'm not saying that, I don't believe in him no more because of that. That's not it. More, why me? More mad at the fact that, you allowed me to go win, but now, we break my arm and we're injured again. So that's where the whole part of learning truly what God wanted me to do and as we talked, in our last YouTube deal, and he's making it more clear to me as far as re-strengthening my faith.
Yeah, you said you were telling a story about your last rodeo you went to, and you said on the way you were praying and you were thinking like,
yes, sir.
I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something else with my life. I think I'm supposed to move on. And you went and you rode, you won the cash money, and then got injured, and you were like, well, I'm done. That's
that was it. Yeah, on the way there, just up into that event, I was riding good, but I would buck off too. We'd win a little bit of money, but not winning the event. Just enough to maybe pay my cell phone bill, some groceries, and go back to the next bull riding the following weekend. And I'm having conversations with him. Like, that's the part where it was testing my faith. He's building me, making me stronger for what's to come after the bull riding. And I literally did ask him in my head. My wife now at the time was just my girlfriend. She's driving, and poor Taylor, I was making her drive at night so I could get some rest on the way there. And I was having this talk with the Lord, and I'm like, man, this just ain't enough anymore. It's still fun, but when you go to the same Coliseum, you see the same thing, it starts to eat at you. When am I ever going to be the world champion? When am I going to win $100,000, $8,000 here and there? You guys know what it's about as far as that goes. Paying bills, when is it actually really going to show? And I said, Lord, I just need something, make this trip worth it and wake me up, because it really ain't fun anymore. And I'll be darned if I show up there. My first bull I drew was named Matthew. Don't really think of it at the time, We ride that bull, I believe I was 85 points. Get on a bull in a short round named Oreo, which is my favorite cookie. I love Oreos. We ride that bull, getting, on the dismount, getting off of him. He decides he's going to kick out real hard, and my free arm happened to be back there. He broke my humerus bone in half. This is for the second time. And we won the event, got the buckle and the money, but, we're coming home with some hardware in the arms. So, on the way home, that's when it really set in, was like, wow, he just answered every bit of what I asked.
Yeah, got a little severance pay. And
yeah.
You're done now.
Yeah, now you're done. So.
When you hear the word courage, what do you think about? Boldness. Like bold breakfast here, It takes courage to get up in the morning and come sit with some men. Heck, I didn't even know what I was going to say. Ever since we talked, I'm going to say this, and I scribble it out. I'm going to prepare it, be prepared. Now, I showed up here this morning, we're winging it. I'm just telling you exactly what comes from my heart, how I feel about it. And when courage, to me, the word that sticks out is bold. You got to be bold to have courage. Like you said, Christ needs men that are going to go out there boldly and share the gospel. And I think, obviously that's what we're doing here. Every time we keep getting men like this, the more bold we get together, And so that's it for me. Yeah, very cool. How has your career in bull riding, building fearlessness and courage over there, how has it translated to just your daily life and your normal life?
Well, I have cattle. I have a few bull calves. They're 2 years old. And as far as, I'm kind of lost, really, still. Every weekend, I was going somewhere on a Thursday or even a Wednesday, So you get home on Sunday or Monday, then a few days at home, you're going back out. Since I've left that sport, I've gotten married. And we got a little baby girl on the way in March. We're doing March, and we're starting a business. It's Davis blasting, surface preparation work. So that's the transitioning is like when I said, we spoke earlier before this deal started. I thought bull riding was still it. When I broke my arm, I'm like, he answered it. I'm hurt again. I've been through this. He's blessed me with some money and some more buckles and trophies, if you will, to show the kids. I'm ready to do it again. All I got to do is heal up in 3 months, I'll be at it. And every time I'd get to where I'm going, but I even told you, I think can't really tell you I'm done.
Yeah.
Something new is happening. Every time he'd direct me somewhere else. Well, that directed me to get married with my wife, and have a little one on the way. So, and then start the business that both of us always truly wanted our own. So,
getting married takes courage.
Takes courage.
Having kids takes courage. Starting a business takes courage.
Yeah.
So I think you hit the trifecta of scary situations.
I'm telling you.
All at one time.
Especially having a little girl. I don't,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's
I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
When you were bull riding and you were praying, did you find the courage in order to see others that were out there to pray with you or something like that?
Oh, yes, sir. So going back to, I think we've got touch on that in the locker room as far as the faith with bull riders. In that locker room, it's not just Americans. There's Brazilians, there's Mexicans. From Mexico, and Australians. It's all walks of life. So yeah, it's a group. We all and we have pastors sometimes come in there too, but usually it's a cowboy. Somebody in that locker room would lead the word of prayer, and then some guys will go do it on their own. But yeah, there's been plenty of times that I've said prayer over the bull riders, and the next weekend it'd be somebody else. So yeah, the faith is strong in there, and rather say someone that rides bulls doesn't believe or not, it won't be long. That's all. I can't say that there is, and then I can't say that there's not somebody out there in the world of bull riding that doesn't believe. But it won't take long.
Now, you always rode bulls, but did you ever ride a horse, buck the horse?
Bucking horses?
Bucking horse?
I've been on one. And it takes a whole different kind of cowboy to do that. Just a bunch of whiplash is all I really felt. And bull riding was just, I knew with that I needed to have my mind focused on one thing. Sure, there's cowboys out there all around. They can rope and ride, broncs and bulls. But bull riding it had my soul. I loved it. Truly was in love with bull riding. And can't really tell you how, surely y'all played sports and yeah, something you're very passionate about, and that's all I can say was bull riding had me. I thought I was going to play college baseball. My coach is there in North Pulaski. I know where that is. Not there no more, but Coach Walker used to yell at me. My junior and senior year, I would be going off on the weekends riding bulls. I remember my catching hand got stepped on one weekend, and I come back to school that next Monday and try to hide it in that practice. I forget who we were warming up with, but he fired one, and I caught it right on the palm. And I slammed my glove down, and my coach knew it. He made me run triangles that day until we were done. So,
how many broken bones?
Oh, man. Well, my face, they call it a Lafort fracture from here to your nose all the way, about halfway across my left side. Broke my maxilla straight across, so I got plates and screws in there. I got mesh in my cheek bones. Broke both clavicles. Broke my humerus bone twice. One in 2013 on the front side, and then this back in March of 2023 on the back side. Fractured right hip, which still I guess fractured till this day. They found that when I broke my arm. They're like, "Did you know that you have a fractured hip?" I was like, I wonder what that pain was, So I've been knocked out a handful of times. I can't even remember. 10 maybe. Count them on both hands. Maybe. That's the ones being knocked out cold. But I really can't, as far as my ligaments, I know that my knee pops every day. If I stand up and look at it, there's an indent right there. I just popped right there. So,
question, is that being stepped on or is that being thrown off on most of those broken bones?
That's all. That's a mix of them. Yeah, every bit of it hung up.
Yeah.
When I broke this left humerus the first time, it was actually at a private event in Ohio. they've had a group of people from France come over, and have never seen bull riding. Well, they got front row seats to this deal, you know, and they finally got to see exactly what it looks like. I got hung up, my hand got stuck in the bull rope, and the bull dragged me down the chute line where the chutes are. And I just knew, like, I'm either going to get smushed or I'm just going to lay back and let him do what he's doing. So I just laid back, and he yanked on me. My hand didn't come out, and it put me right under him, and he stepped on me. And yeah, that was my first, I guess, welcome to the realness of bull riding, because it was just for practice, technically.
Yeah.
You did this for so long, but you saw others get hurt before you, correct?
I saw the others die. I wasn't there for this one, but a couple years back, Mason Lowe, I've had the privilege of being around him, and just from guys from down here. He's multi-time world finalist, was on his way to being a world champion, you know, in Denver, Colorado, February of, I'd say it was 2018 maybe. He lost his life there. I watched a good buddy of mine in Indiana, just a small town indoor deal, and lose his life there at a little 500 added rodeo. You know, some of these bull ridings are worth 100,000 in some of the events, you know, and then others are 500 added. No matter the amount of money, I guess, it don't. I mean, it's the same. And as far as the courage goes, you know, sometimes you tell yourself, all right, well, it's more money, it's worth it. But really, is it, in a sense? And that's where I'm at now. You know, it's looking back at it, and yeah, it took a lot of ego courage, experience courage, you know, because being egotistic, I guess.
There's got to be some ego courage to be willing to do it in the first place.
That's where you learn your experience part. You know, you do that for so long, you become experienced at it. And then faith, for me, I guess, you know, everybody has different ways around it, but faith surely followed after the experience part. I've had it all my life. I knew who Jesus Christ was, but didn't know the whole walking with him, you know, being an advocate for him. So,
yeah.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
So you're calling it ego courage. You call it hold my beer courage. I'm going to call it Peter courage and Paul courage.
Amen. Amen.
So at what point in your walk, because from what I'm hearing, you started out with a Peter type courage where you didn't know, you just went in and you're like, I'm just going to figure this out, right? At what point did you notice the switch from that to where it was more of an experienced courage where, like, I can do this because I know this?
Sure. So when I first went to the PBR was in 2009. That was my ego. Because, I'm like, yeah, I've been winning, been to a couple of national finals. We're going to go and do it at that level. Now, I only drove 4 hours to it. That was in Ohio. I was staying in Ohio at the time. And I told myself, now, we're going to go to these events, but I'm not going to go drive 8 hours. You know, I'm going to stay in state. And if we can win then it's meant to be. That was a short-lived deal as far as thinking I was going to make it on tour then. At 19, 20, when I started getting consistent riding and then going to these bigger shows, I was like, all right, the experience is coming. But I wouldn't say till I was 25 is when it really kicked in. You're older. 19, you're still a boy. I mean, you're considered a man. You know, you can go fight a war and whatnot, but the experience part still wasn't there. You know, at 25 is when I started to change, just because I had more injuries. Bull riding was every day. You know, I was practicing at it. I was getting on practice bulls. And then really just my mind started slowing down. I was getting in my Bible more, you know, and I just felt more, I guess, experience. You're getting older. So I would have to say about mid-25, I started realizing, all right, this is not only my passion, this is my career now. And we're gonna go to the World Finals. Now, I didn't make the World Finals till I was 32 years old, you know, in 2022. So that's still a long journey. And, you know, and I just never flawed from it. I never got discouraged because, you know, thinking about that, we went to Timothy. My wife got me this shirt for my birthday, and it come late, and literally it come like right after you had asked me to do this.
Yeah.
And Shane was in the hospital, and it's the Timothy, you know, Joshua 1:9. And that's wild, man. When you asked me to do that, this shirt comes in, and I'm like, it's just, you know, it's meant to be. So, yeah, I just thought I'd share that.
That's awesome. Yeah. Anybody else got a question?
You think the 8 seconds you're numb? It's like a. It's not like a blackout thing. It's not, you know, you're not blacked out, but it's just.
You're numb.
Yeah.
That's the adrenaline running.
Right.
Because if you don't, to me, if you don't shut your mind down within, to me, when you walk to the Coliseum and you leave your girlfriend or your wife or your family and they go up, you know, stairs to the seats and you go to the locker room, that's when the chills start. Like, it's real. It might be the last time I see them. You know, as a bull rider, you don't want to admit that stuff, but it's in your head. But you got to bury it back here, because if you don't become numb to that, what could be, what will be, I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to get hurt. Then you're going to allow things in your brain and your mind to get you discouraged, get your mind off the job. And the job is, I'm there to ride bulls and to win.
How many sponsors did you have?
I've had a handful. You know, pro hats, cowboy hat. Fabulous Ford Bucking Bulls, Josh Walling, he was a big reason for me making the World Finals in 2022. He raises bucking bulls, and he's got a ranch and some other stuff he does, but that guy invested about $10,000 into me in 2022. And you know, as far as some product goes, I've had some apparel companies or whatnot, but nothing like $1 million contractor, you know, some guys get.
You said that there was a lot of other ethnic groups that were there, bull riding as well, like
Yes, sir.
Hispanics, you had you know, other people from other countries.
Yes, sir.
How did they came here just to ride?
Yes, sir. See, the professional bull riders, it's a pretty big sport. I mean, organization. They founded in 1996. One of the first pioneers for the Brazilians, his name's Adriano Moraes. That guy has won multiple world championships, and he's really pioneered paved the pathway for the Brazilians to come over. But the Canadians, so yeah, I mean, they get their visa through it, work visa. The PBR can allow to these guys to come and do that. So yeah, they got PBR Brazil. You know, everybody competes at the end of the year. Your top 30 come to the World Finals. So, I mean,
You were doing this. One quick question.
Yes, sir.
Did anyone give you good advice as far as how to ride them over your years of studying?
Sure. I mean, the best advice is just keep your hands shut. Because I can give you all, is keep your hands shut. I can give you all the advice in the world how to ride a bull, but in your heart, are you truly gonna want to do it? That's up to you. You know, so keep your hands shut, and the rest will follow. But yeah. So.
On that, we're running low on time, so I'm gonna wrap us up here. Thank you, Brandon, for coming and joining us. It was awesome to have you, and I guess remember to keep your hands shut and ride that thing.
Hey, yeah. Thanks for having me.
But thank you. Yeah.